Welcome to Soundscape Crusaders,
a music discovery podcast where we pair music with media.
Join co-hosts Nate and Levi on this journey
as we dive deep and examine one song an episode, discuss what we love about it,
and then pair it with something that emotionally and tonally coincides with the song. Anyway, yeah, we're in week 3 of When September Ends, our tribute to rock, emo, punk from the 2000s.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Is that right, Nate?
That's a yes.
And this week it's your pick.
It is.
And I want to hear what you got. Like, take the lead, sir.
All right. We are staying in the Northeast. The first song I picked was from a band from Newark, New Jersey. We are staying within that area. This second band is from Long Island, New York. And it is what we are listening to today is a song from their 2006 record, Louder Now. The song is MakeDamnSure by Taking Back Sunday.
I wonder if that's the one, some of the ones I know.
It probably is. This is probably their most popular song.
You got a link?
Sending it right now. There was 2 songs. I wanted to talk about Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah.
It was this song and Cute Without the E was the other one. I was like,
I know that one.
That one is so good. But this is my favorite from them, so I wanted to talk about this one. So,
okay, I'm interested.
I have the music video pulled up.
Me too. I'm zeroed out.
All right, sounds good. You ready? In 3,
Yes.
2, 1.
Blast off.
You've got this new head filled up with smoke, and I got my veins all tangled close to the jukebox bars you frequent, the safest place to hide. A long night spent with your most obvious weakness, you start shaking at the thought. You are everything I want, 'cause you are everything I'm not.
Song really flies, you know.
Yeah.
Does not overstay its welcome, you know. It just gets in, gets out, tells you what it's all about, kind of thing. Kind of like last week's song, you know.
I feel like there's gonna be a through line for this whole month.
And what is that?
Relationships suck.
Don't they ever?
Relationships are terrible.
Everything sucks and people are terrible and awful. Yeah.
I don't know if this is gonna be tough to find picks for this several times. This is exercising my muscles, man.
Dude, man. Too bad you're not in college again. It's like exactly the shit we did in college. Yeah, so did you know this song? Have you heard this song before?
I don't think I did. No. I think this is if I had, I probably heard it on the radio, right. But it didn't really
So MakeDamnSure was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was the first single off their 3rd record, titled Louder Now. Came out in 2006. So this is 2 years after my first week. So we're keeping within that mid-aughts time.
Right.
Taking Back Sunday is interesting because they were founded in, I think it was November of 1999. And one of the founding members was a man named Jesse Lacey, who ended up leaving the band shortly after its formation and founded a band called Brand New. I don't know if you know them.
No.
Taking Back Sunday is just really interesting with those first 2 records. So, like I said, Louder Now was their 3rd record. They have 2 before it. Tell All Your Friends, which is their debut, and Where You Want to Be, which is their follow-up. Both on Victory Records, which was a small label out of Chicago. Some of the bands that came out of there that I think you would recognize are, aside from Taking Back Sunday, are Hawthorne Heights, Streetlight Manifesto, and A Day to Remember.
Okay, I knew one of those.
But like there was so much turmoil between like between members of the band through those first couple records that it's kind of shocking that they survived to make Louder Now.
Yeah.
Like I want to say like Adam Lazzara is the lead singer for Taking Back Sunday. I think he's like only one of like the original members still in it. I don't know much of their history post. Yeah, I don't know much of their history post Louder Now because I mean, I think their most interesting material is their first 3 records. But he was dating one of the other band members' sister and cheated on her with someone else. So there.
Oh yeah, that causes issues.
Like there's just, and then like some like they went on a tour at one point, and then they got back and they're like, oh fuck, I don't know if we like each other. Do we want to break up? You know, do we want to split the band? Do we want to call it quits? And shit, this like all that was even before their second record came out.
I have a question for you about this.
Go for it.
I'm curious as to what you think, because when you hear a band like this, and it's like, oh, there's only one original bandmate in the band now. Is it still the same band? It's kind of like the Ship of Thesis, I think is what it's called, where it's like an idea put forth where you have a ship. Maybe it's Theseus.
I think it's Theseus.
You have a ship.
Theseus, I think is how you pronounce that.
Theseus?
Theseus, I think so.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you have a ship, and if you replace one board at a time, at what point does it cease being
right.
the original ship? If you're, let's say you're replacing one board once a month or something,
right.
and it slowly kind of becomes a completely different ship, or is it the same ship? Same thing with bands. What do you think?
Man, that is a tough... Because there's so many bands I enjoy that have kind of gone through that. Like there's one band we talked about episodes ago. I'll use them as an example. So Alice in Chains, their original lead singer Layne Staley passed away in 2004. They picked up again and started making new records 2007 onward. And it was one of those situations where like, is this even the same band? It doesn't sound the same.
Right. And changing the vocalist changes, everything. Like that's hard to replicate. Right. Like at least if you lose a guitarist, you could have they might not have the same flair or something, but you could have someone try to just replicate.
Drummer.
Yeah.
Because you can find someone that can play. It's very hard to replicate someone's voice. I don't know. I used to be like a really big stickler for that kind of shit when I was like younger and kind of an ass. I think if it's if it's the brainchild, which I think Lazzara is kind of the front man or not. I think he's like the head writer for a lot of their stuff. I mean, just looking at looking at Louder Now, all music and lyrics are written and performed by Taking Back Sunday. That's who they give the credit to. They don't give it to
the whole band.
They give it to the whole band. I don't know, man. This is such a tough question.
And I think it also stands to reason. Let's say he's the last guy, and then 5 years from now he decides he's over it. Yeah. Does that kill the band, or could the band, since there have been established members for many years now, could they replace the last person?
I think
maybe it's just a spirit thing.
I think if the heart, and what the band stands for in a sense, I think if that's kind of kept intact, no matter who's involved, I think it's okay. But also at that point, just call it. Just fucking call it. You know? I don't know. It's tough.
I guess it's just one of those things where it's if you see it, and you can't really.
And unfortunately, it's one of those things like when a band really has gone through so much lineup changes, you can tell on their records.
Right?
You can definitely tell in their creation, and it's like one of those situations where you're letting something live longer than it probably should. If you want to look at it kind of morbidly, I think it's a really interesting concept to think about.
And just the idea of who owns that moniker of the band, right?
Right. Because looking at it, my favorite lineups of Taking Back Sunday were the first 3 records, and even those guys went through multiple changes. People left and dipped, and like I said earlier, they were threatening, they were going to disband, they were going to break up. I don't know. That's a really good conversation. That's a really good conversation starter. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a hefty thing, and I don't know if there is an answer to it because I think, like I said, you know it when you see it. Like that's the government's definition of pornography, right?
Right.
Like that they in order to, I don't know, you just know it when you see it.
Well, looking at let's continue. Sorry.
In terms of, I was just speaking in terms of like the band spirit, because I think that's what you're talking about. Like sometimes if a band loses one person, the spirit's gone.
Yeah.
And you can't get that back. Sometimes somehow who they have replacing whomever that left keeps the spirit intact. I mean, I feel like that was the case with AC/DC.
Yeah. They lost Bon Scott, but Brian Johnson, you know, like he sounds different, drastically different.
Yeah.
They still kept that spirit and that flame alight. But
yeah,
I mean, looking at their current lineup right now, 2 of the guys have been on since 2001 onward to present. The other 2 guys...
Okay, that's a long time, yeah.
This is interesting because the other 2 guys, one was with them from 99 to 2003. The other guy was with them from 01 to 03. Both left, came back both in 2010 to present. So I guess, like, I'd say probably, yeah, they're... I haven't listened to much post Louder Now in regards to Taking Back Sunday, but I think in that argument, a lot of that heart's still there and kind of came back, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would say all of those people are pretty established with the band to where that doesn't... I'm not a Taking Back Sunday expert, so I can't speak really on the sound, you know? But it sounds like they all have a relationship with the band.
Yeah. I mean, it's Taking Back Sunday, you know, they're an alternative rock band. They have emo elements as well, especially like with their lyrics and how visceral they can be, like especially with this song. But
I remember this being super popular, by the way.
Yeah. They were...
I feel like this type of music isn't anymore.
It's not, but I feel like it's fun to reminisce and look back on. I feel like it's... But I think I'm looking at it through a nostalgic lens, you know?
This song, in terms of what it is, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. This guy's dealing with this person relationally, and it doesn't sound healthy.
No, it comes off as very toxic, but from what I think is kind of an interesting perspective, well, interesting to a point, because, you know, toxic relationships are not, you know, fun. But I think it's interesting because it's the perspective of the one being toxic.
Yeah.
I guess we never asked you this. What did you think of the song?
I liked it. It didn't like set off like alarm bells in my head or anything, but I liked it. You know,
it's a fun song. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah. I
continue.
I think I would have a stronger reaction if I had remembered hearing it more during that time period, and I'm surprised I haven't. Like, it doesn't sound familiar, extremely familiar to me.
This was a popular song, bro.
Yeah,
I remember hearing
I was aware of Taking Back Sunday too.
I remember hearing it on the radio all the time.
Yeah,
because Louder Now was their first record with Warner Brothers, so it was like a big label that they got signed to and made this record.
Yeah,
so that's probably why I got so much play.
They were huge.
Yeah,
like they had a presence,
and they're really, really good live. I saw them live back in high school, and it was fucking awesome.
I bet that was awesome.
They it was one of those How the Edge Stole Christmas shows.
Yeah.
And Day to Remember was there, Taking Back Sunday was there, Naked and Famous, Joy Formidable. I can't remember who else was at that show, but it was awesome.
I bet it was. Was it where was it?
You know where Grand Prairie is?
Yeah.
It was at that venue, whatever that one's called. The Verizon Theater or whatever.
I haven't been there.
It's a cool venue.
Yes.
Who else was there? I think Rise Against might have been there. I think AWOL Nation was there because Sail was kind of big at the time. Oh man, but yeah, this song's not here to reinvent the wheel. It's just here for.
It's not.
It's just here to have a good time.
And that's not. Yeah, it's not. I have no criticisms against it. It's it is what it is in a good way.
Yes.
And it's very typical emo rock type, you know, punk rock. And yeah, it's about a relationship going not so well. So that's pretty much what I got from it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Is there anything else we can add to this song?
I feel like it's very toxic and abusive, like, especially from the perspective of this narrator. Like the chorus alone is, I just want to break you down so badly. Well, I trip over everything you say. I just want to break you down so badly in the worst way.
Yeah, like I said, there's a theme through this month.
Yeah, that's not pretty. When you want to break someone down, it's not a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like it's mutually toxic, this particular relationship.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Probably. I'd say that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound one-sided. It sounds like they're both pretty...
I think
whatever.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I actually
Do you have a pick?
I think I do have a pick.
Yeah.
I do have a
I do too.
I do have a pick. Okay.
So do you want me to go first?
It's my week.
That's what we usually do, right?
It's my week, bro. Go first. Fucking send it.
All right, man.
I wonder if we're
pull
gonna
up.
pick the same movie or thing.
I'll be surprised. I'd be surprised if we did.
I'm curious if you've seen this movie. Mine's a movie. Sorry, spoilers.
All right, so we are working with a song that's about a toxic relationship, maybe even an obsession, just toxic relationships, maybe just a whole lot of maybe jealousy, maybe, hate, a lot of things. And there's a movie that came to mind that kind of has all of these things. It's a classic film made by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Joan Fontaine and Laurence Olivier. That is Rebecca from 1940. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite.
It's your favorite Hitchcock?
One of my favorite Hitchcocks. Yeah, one of my favorites. I don't know if I can say it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there. So I just sent you the trailer.
Let's do
I think
it.
it's the right trailer.
That was not my pick, obviously, if I've never seen this movie. Okay, I'm ready
so
whenever you are.
3, 2, 1.
Announcing the return of the most glamorous motion picture ever made. David O. Selznick
He's like
and
such
Alfred
charming,
Hitchcock bring you the
like
grand
handsome
slam
dude.
prize
Oh, yeah.
that made
Olivier-
motion picture history. Winner
Yeah,
the
Laurence
Academy
Olivier is
Award, voted
he
by America's
handsome.
critics as the best picture of the year.
Superstar.
And now, as a result of a national poll, winning new honors as audiences throughout the country vote to see it again. The Selznick Studio's successor to Gone with the Wind.
Okay, so that's pretty much it.
Rebecca.
This-
Rebecca. Sorry, I'm taking
This movie is, like I said, by Alfred Hitchcock.
Legend.
Do I have to explain who he is? He's one of the most famous directors of all time. We'll just, for the sake of saying it, he's one of the most famous directors of all time. He did things like Psycho, the shower scene. Wee, wee, wee. Insert that sound. And The Birds and
North by Northwest, Rear Window,
Yeah.
Vertigo.
Vertigo.
Yeah, Rope, Dial M for Murder. He's the fucking shit.
There you
bro.
go. Yeah. He's got a ton of classics.
Oh yeah.
Rebecca I find it to be an interesting movie because it's not a horror movie, right? Mm-hmm. But it kind of is, and it's kind of a ghost story, but it's also not. It doesn't have monsters, but it is a ghost story in the sense that the titular character Rebecca is dead before the movie even begins.
Huh. That's cool.
And everything kind of revolves around her.
So is Laurence Olivier
And-
her husband? Her ex-husband? I don't. You know what? Don't answer
Rebecca-
that. Don't answer that. Yeah, don't answer that.
No. Yeah, Laurence Olivier is Rebecca's husband.
Okay.
Rebecca is dead.
Gotcha.
And he meets a young lady played by Joan Fontaine.
Okay.
And, they meet, fall in love, get married, he takes his new bride back to his estate, Manderley, which is a giant mansion in England. And the housekeeper / kind of butler type lady, the keeper of the house, she is just mean. She is mean to Maxim. Maxim is the name of the character that Joan Fontaine plays.
Okay.
And the housekeeper is super mean to her and is mad about Rebecca and just tries to manipulate situations into making Maxim look bad. And even though Laurence Olivier's character, doesn't have a problem, the housekeeper's trying to make him, get rid of her. And there's twists and turns, and you learn things about all of the characters, and you're trying to figure out, was this guy not a good guy? Who's the bad guy in this story, right?
There's so many questions,
You're
it
bouncing
sounds
around.
like, that arise from watching this movie, because you don't know don't know which way's up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of intrigue, and you're just following Joan Fontaine's character as she tries to navigate this. There's a really beautiful disc from the Criterion Collection that you can get for this, and the transfer is beautiful. That trailer we just watched looked terrible, but the disc transfer is beautiful. You can probably find this. Let's see. I know it's on the Criterion channel probably because it's a Criterion movie.
Okay.
Well, it says it's not available on any services, but
Well, that's unfortunate.
oh well. Beautiful movie, great. It's a great story, and it's I think it's one of the more underrated Hitchcocks out there, because you always have people talking about Vertigo or Rear Window, which both great movies, or Psycho, The Birds, all of that. But Rebecca is a really special movie, and if you haven't seen it, I think you definitely should.
Looks good. But I like Hitchcock. Yeah. I think just just looking at his filmography, everything I've seen from him is just so good.
Yeah. Let's see what
I'm pulling up his filmography.
He has a huge filmography too.
Yeah. That's the problem.
In silent and sound.
It's ridiculous.
Let's see. I have seen Murder, The Man Who Knew Too Much, The 39 Steps, I think Sabotage, The Lady Vanishes, Rebecca, Foreign Correspondent, maybe Suspicion.
Strangers on a Train's pretty good.
Strangers on a Thing is great. Shadow of a Doubt.
That's a good one. Dial M for Murder's great. Rear Window's great.
Yeah. I love Rear Window.
I do too. Yeah, I've seen most of his later stuff. But everything I've seen from him is, I love Rope. I think Rope's one of my favorite of his. But James Stewart is just the perfect. He's just the perfect actor. Oh my God.
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
Here's a hot take. I don't like The Birds.
It's okay.
I think it's one of his more bland movies, and it relied to it didn't age as well to me as most of his other movies, because it relied so much on the terror of the birds, when I just really the big thing that I took away from that movie from being amazing is the last scene where they're walking through the big field of the birds to get to the car or something. It's been a minute.
And they're just standing there.
And that was a crazy scene, but in general, I just found the movie not to be my thing. And he has so many other amazing movies that I just...
It's not the one I would recommend. Shit, I wouldn't even really recommend Psycho that much.
I like Psycho. You want to know why I like Psycho?
Why? Because Janet Leigh dies in it. You know whose mom that is, by the way?
What's her face? I'm blanking on her name. I know.
She's in True Lies.
True Lies?
Is she in True Lies?
Oh, yeah. She is.
Okay, I was about to say.
What's her? Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's her mom. Why do you like Psycho? Do you have a mommy issue?
Well, I somehow managed to get to watch that movie without knowing the spoilers of the end.
Oh shit!
So I went in completely fresh somehow,
a
and it was like later in life.
It makes a difference.
And not knowing that, like, it was a good experience. I just had a really good experience watching that movie.
That's one of those movies I had spoiled for me, and
I feel like it's a movie for most people that you have the ending explained because it's an iconic movie, so it's hard to not know about it.
No, for sure. No, for sure.
There's a lot of movies like that. That's a special thing to experience, especially for a classic movie like that.
Right, for sure. No, that makes a difference with Psycho, because I think I had it spoiled, that whole ending, the whole Norman Bates thing.
Anyway, the Rebecca's good, and I definitely recommend it. You need to watch it. I have a disc of it if you need to.
So you relate it to the song because it sounds like it's about like a very toxic relationship.
Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't even go into that. So I think it fits the song because the movie, like, everyone has a toxic relationship in one way or another. The housekeeper is extremely just bitter and chilly towards Joan Fontaine.
Okay.
And they're all talking about, Rebecca, like, you'll never be Rebecca, that kind of stuff.
Right. So she was going into this. Joan Fontaine's going into this relationship already way behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and Laurence Olivier gets really weird every time Rebecca gets brought up. Like, he's just so she tries not to even bring him up around him, and he's like, weird about it.
It's crazy.
And then the housekeeper is just very bitter and whatever. And the lyrics kind of reminded me of that relationship because, like in the first verse, you have "you're everything I want because you're everything I'm not."
Yeah.
And so I kind of hear this song as Joan Fontaine's character singing, being like, talking basically to Rebecca. Because there is a moment in the movie where she kind of like has this breakdown. She's like,
"Aw, poor baby."
Everybody's talking about Rebecca. And it's like there can be this form of jealousy for this person that isn't even alive anymore because she wants that connection.
Right. That makes
which
sense.
she doesn't have. She's being frozen out.
Yeah. That would suck.
Yeah, so like not everything has a one-to-one, translation from this song to Rebecca, but enough of it
I see why
reminds
it
me of that movie.
Yeah. It makes total sense why you would relate it to it. I like it. No, it looks good, man, and Hitchcock's one of those guys, like, I've seen a good chunk, but it's still never enough, There's so much more.
And there's more things I could connect to it, but it has to do with like the key some of the key plot points, so I'm not even going to go into it because going fresh, man.
Okay, I will have to do that. I'll have to watch that. Good pick. I like it, even though I've never seen it, but I think it works. Good job.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear what you have because it's not, clearly we didn't pick the same thing like you saw. So I wonder if I'm going to be a big fan of this pick that you have.
I don't know if you've seen this movie before. This is one of those movies I saw in passing. What's up?
Only one way to find out.
Only one way to find out. This was one of those movies I saw in passing a lot on TV. I don't know why my parents let me watch parts of this movie and then, eventually like the whole thing at once. Right. Because the whole movie is toxic. The whole movie just makes you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
This is a movie that came out in 1987, so it's a little later than Rebecca. It is a psychological... What's up? You good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, sorry. So it's a psychological thriller starring Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. The movie I am picking to relate to this song, Make Damn Sure, is Fatal Attraction. Have you seen it?
It's kind of like Basic Instinct, right? Send me the link. Send me the trailer.
I don't think it came. Well, one, it came before. It was 5 years before Basic Instinct, and two.
Well, yeah, but okay. No, go ahead.
Let's watch the trailer first. Let's just watch the trailer first. I don't think it's like Basic Instinct, but I don't know.
The title sounds like Basic Instinct, but
this movie's a fucking trip. It is what it is. All right, man. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1.
A look that led to an evening.
You're attracted to each other at the party. That was obvious. You're on your own for the night. That's also obvious.
A mistake he'd regret all his life.
Now, where's your wife?
Daddy! Honey, oh, God,
And you're here with a strange girl.
Man, they're really giving a lot away in this trailer.
Should I stop it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
stop it. No, they're.
Jeez, that was giving me so much anxiety.
How do you think I felt as a child watching this movie? I was like 12, bro.
Oh, man.
So I don't really think it's like Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, no, that's different.
So Basic Instinct stars Michael Douglas and Glenn Close, who are both really, really good in this movie. Michael Douglas is kind of a slimy, not lawyer. I think you were thinking of a Basic Instinct because Michael Douglas is in that as well.
Oh shit, he is.
I think that's why you thought it.
Well, and even the title is like Fatal Attraction is like, it sounds like a sex thriller. Like Basic Instinct.
It's not as erotic as Basic Instinct. So Michael Douglas plays this character. I think his name is Dan, if I remember correctly, who's a lawyer, a Manhattan, New York lawyer. He's a shithead. And he has an affair, a one-night stand with this woman, played by Glenn Close. What is her name? I'm going to look it up. Named Alex. He has a one-night stand with her. She becomes madly invested in him and wants to be with him and goes through hella lengths to be with him or try to be with him.
I felt like I was just having a panic attack watching some of those instances in the trailer.
Dude. It's not... So this is not really...
She looks nuts, man.
And I think, if I remember correctly, she was up for a Best Actress, I think.
I believe it. I don't even need to see the movie. From that trailer, man, she was...
I don't think she won, though.
Different... Stressing me out.
Dude, there's so much that happens in this movie that is just a fucking trip. Dude, I feel like I need to watch it, but I'm not, like, I'm gonna be stressed out the whole time. It's like Uncut Gems level of stress. Yeah. Cause like it starts out like easy breezy, like, well, I mean, Michael Douglas is a shithead.
Right.
Cause his wife, he has a wife and daughter, which was shown in the trailer.
He's cheating.
And he cheats on her with Glenn Close's character, Alex. Like, it already starts off really shitty, like, very toxic. Like, adultery is bad. Don't do it. Like,
right.
Just don't fucking do it.
Put the little Reading Rainbow music.
The more you know.
Or the more you know, yeah. Adultery is bad. Don't do it.
That's the NBC theme. It's just, there's so much that happens in this movie that I don't really want to give away just in case you do eventually watch it. But there are scenes in this movie that are, as a parent of a child, is like fear-inducing.
Yeah.
Like, you saw what happened in the trailer with, like, hey, where's my daughter?
Roller coaster. Yeah.
And she takes the daughter for a trip. Because in the movie...
That makes me nervous,
in the movie, Glenn Close's character gets, like, this whole, like, fantasy in her head that she's going to be with Michael Douglas and they're going to raise his kid, and it's... I'm glad we dropped out of that trailer, bro, because, like, it was going to start giving shit away, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, that looked tense, man. It didn't look... I mean, it looked great. It's
not a feel-good movie, for starters.
in the same way that the song really isn't a feel good song, you know.
Like,
so I see where you're coming from.
it's very toxic, isn't it?
I see
because they both suck. Michael Douglas is not the hero in this movie. None of this would have happened if he wasn't like if he couldn't just keep his pants up, or if he could just like keep his dick in his pants, he would be fine.
Right.
None of the bullshit that happens. Like he's It always confused me as a kid because I'm like, why do we want him to win? He's just as bad. Yeah. Like I remember asking my parents that, and they're like, "Well, it's just a movie." That's what they'd always hit me with, and I'm like, "That makes no sense." Like
can't fight that logic.
Like I feel like you feel bad for his wife and you feel bad for his kid, but like I don't feel bad.
Yeah,
for Michael
and they're getting.
Douglas.
Well, that's where the tension is. Yeah. Even if you don't like him. These innocent people that he's associated with are in the crossfire, right. And that like makes you nervous. That makes you real nervous. It sounds great. I have nothing to add, but it sounds like
I don't want to give him. I don't want to talk more about it because like there's one scene in this movie. And I think it was the first scene I ever saw of it. It's kind of near the end. But it's always stuck with me because I think it is just the most grotesque, horrible thing you could do.
Oh no!
And it made me so sad.
That makes me nervous,
dude. If you watch it, let me know and let me know how you feel.
That makes me really nervous, man.
It is pretty good. It's very well made. The director is Adrian
Yeah,
Lyne.
It looks great.
And he did Flashdance. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's okay.
Nope.
Jacob's Ladder, which is a pretty interesting psychological horror film. He did Indecent Proposal, which is an erotic drama. He did Deep Water, which is that new psychological thriller with Affleck and Ana de Armas. He did that.
Yeah. I've heard. Wait, was that supposed to be good or bad?
I have no idea.
I can't remember.
And the screenwriter was James Dearden, which it looks like he didn't really do much of note that I can tell. Fatal Attraction was really his big one.
Right. It's big.
Yeah.
Big thing.
I mean...
Well, all you need is one sometimes.
Yeah, all you need is the one. If you're interested, check it out. I think it's really interesting. I think it's very well done.
I really, that's going up at the top because that sounds like it sounds like something that I would really enjoy, even if I was stressed out the whole time.
And you will be. You will be stressed out the entire time because you're like, where is she? Where is she? Where is she coming from?
Yeah, like just psycho, like kind of like our Invisible Man conversation.
I love that.
Like Invisible Man would be a good fit too here. So.
I love that movie. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really have to explain much more of why I think it relates to the song.
Yeah, it makes sense. It just makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great pick. And really, again, as always, just kind of seems like these songs are, doing the hard work for an interesting double feature night.
This would not be a feel-good double feature.
No. No, it would not. Rebecca's pretty long. Mm-hmm. I think it's... Let's see. I think it's over 2 hours.
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, 130 minutes.
Okay. Fatal Attraction's only 11 minutes shorter. It's pretty hefty as well.
So you sitting down for this, it's a 4+ hour endeavor for a double feature. Mm-hmm. Maybe take a break, eat some pizza, or
try to be happy.
Yeah. For that reason, I mean, I would guess it's hard to say because you haven't seen my pick and I haven't seen your pick, but I think yours would want to be first. Like you go Fatal Attraction and then Rebecca.
I think that's probably
like
fair.
You can kind of simmer down with Rebecca because it's more of a slow simmer type thing. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Fatal Attraction, you'd be stressed out the whole time. So at least maybe you could kind of like chill out after and watch a nice 1940 Hitchcock movie. What do you think?
I think that's fair. Because there's really no like Breathing Room and Fatal Attraction. It just fucking goes, man. I still can't believe it's one of those films that just played in my house at the time. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, my parents.
That's
yeah. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Doesn't seem like a very kid-friendly movie.
No. But I was just so intrigued as a child, like, oh, what movie is that?
Yeah.
You know, I tried to digest as much as I could, you know.
Nothing felt better than watching something that was like beyond your scope of comfort.
Right.
You know, in terms of, like, oh, this is a movie for adults.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm old. Or some shit like that.
Right.
I would, I would recommend it.
Your system.
I think it's well made. It was up for 6 Academy Awards. I don't think it won any, but
oh, nice.
It had 6 noms. It was the highest grossing film of 87. Like, it was a popular movie when it came out. So
hey, Rebecca was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards too. So
nice.
There you go.
Look at us.
We got 2 Academy movies.
Yeah, look at us go. Damn. You're right though. This month has been Bummer City.
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's probably going to continue to be that.
Yeah.
I just can't see us getting out of that for emo rock month.
Nope. I think we knew what we were getting ourselves into, and we committed.
Yeah.
This is week 3. We got one more left, man.
Yeah, that begs the question, what is next week's song?
I'm excited, bro.
Could be anything.
It could be anything. I am excited to see what you bring to the table. It's going to be awesome.
I don't even know if I know yet.
Nice.
I have to decide.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, maybe I'll just close my eyes and pick. There's a few that... Mm-hmm. Huh?
I was going to say, if you come with like a Day to Remember song, I'm going to like freak out.
That's on my list. Well, one is on my list.
Dude,
so
fucking shit,
and
bro.
If not more than one. So there's a few options. So it just really goes to say, like, do I pick something that I had more of a connection with, or something that better represents the era that we're talking about?
Well,
so
I think
I'm going to make that decision.
I think, looking at last week's, I think, because it sounded like you had a lot of ties to Feel Good Drag, but it still was within that parameter of this month.
Right.
So I think it worked. I think you did just fine. So I'm excited.
No, for sure. I just think, I'm just trying to decide, do I want to pick something like one of the key things or not? But, just bouncing ideas around.
We'll see, man.
Just trying to figure it out.
This has been fun. I'm really, I'm super proud with how far we've come. So we've, gotten a lot better.
Yeah. And this week's been great, and I can't wait till we, figure next week out. And, we got some good stuff coming.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Twitter at Sound Crusaders, and also follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Soundscape Crusaders. Until next time.